Hi everyone, it's Susie here. I found an interesting article re Ripple, and they're taking significant steps to reshape their XRP ledger, which I thought was very interesting. And it's mainly targeting fund managers, big banks, big financial institutions, it's specifically designed for institutions. They want to focus on lending, privacy, and compliance. And I think this is really important. Ripple aims to empower banks and financial institutions confidently to utilize its blockchain. And these first big changes come with their new version, number three, which introduces a native lending protocol. The system allows lenders to pool their assets using single asset vaults. These vaults will enhance liquidity management and track ownership and loans. Institutions can adopt their own risk models off-chain, keeping their proprietary information to themselves. And I think this is really important because institutions always need privacy, particularly in finance. And Ripple is addressing this with the zero knowledge proof tools that it's putting on the XRP ledger. And this is another thing. When we talk about big fund managers or big banks, they do a lot of transactions and they don't want their competitors to know what they're actually doing. Okay. So, Ripple XRP ledger can make a private ledger for the institution itself, but also the institution is able to get auditors in to confirm that private ledger with giving an auditor approval to actually look at their private ledger. So I think this is a really interesting version of number three for XRP Ledger. I think it should get a lot of demand from the institutions because that's something the institutions are always talking about is data privacy, which is essential when they're competing, particularly the big banks like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, and the like. They don't want their competitors knowing what they're actually doing, and this also, when you look at ODL, Ripple provides, on-demand liquidity as well with a lending facility for institutions and XRP being able to make payments within 3 seconds. I think this is an amazing development. That's why I thought I'd bring it to your attention. These tools enable the management and verification of assets discreetly, verify proof of reserves. Auditors can verify a company's reserves without accessing sensitive financial details. Ripple is proving that regulatory compliance and privacy can coexist. Some compliance features are already functional, and the credentials tools links identity checks to blockchain accounts. Another tool called Deep Free allows token issuers to freeze funds on flagged accounts. And I think that's amazing. If there's ever a hack or anything that looks not right on the ledger, they can actually freeze the funds on these flagged accounts, right? And certainly Ripple itself, it confirms with its transactions and its compliance, its ISO, it complies with ISO standard 2022, which another thing is a compliance protocol. And I think it's an excellent idea what XRP Ledger is doing. And I think the institutions will really like these new tools. Also, we also have Simulate, where it enables developers to simulate in another test environment, okay, rather than the mainnet itself. But they can simulate, which enables developers to test transactions before posting them. So they have almost like a sandbox where they can actually test, the big banks or who it might be, the fund managers can test different transactions, which could be financial transactions. We could be talking about capital market transactions, derivative transactions, normal banking transactions, right? But being tested, or swaps or whatever, derivatives, being tested in a sandbox area, which, is a step back from the live XRP ledger. And once they've tested them, they can then go on to the ledger XRPL with version number three. I think this is terrific. I really do. These tools enhance institutional security and control on XRP Ledger with on-demand liquidity. Ripple is launching multi-purpose tokens for representing complex assets. And again, those complex assets, could be derivatives. They could be exchange-traded funds, for example. They could introduce tokenization, again, where the banks or whoever it might be, or even exchange is dealing in financial securities like equities, for example, and they could tokenize those equities into smaller amounts. So this is a big step up for Ripple in terms of their technology. These tokens can encapsulate attributes like maturity, dates, restrictions without needing full smart contracts. Wow, that's amazing. Ripple, as you know, the XRP Ledger never had full smart contracts, but the fact is they've updated with this version where you can actually do smart type contracts, but with the new version, version number 3. This innovation could facilitate smoother onboarding of bonds, real estate tokens, and regulated fund shares. On different exchanges and that sort of thing. So I think this is a big step up, and they can put those on the XRP Ledger version number 3. Additionally, permissioned exchanges may introduce limiting access based on verified credentials. So they may even allow their clients to go on the XRP Ledger but have different accounts, which may be public or private, depending on what the exchange requires on behalf of their large clients as well. So I think this is amazing. Ripple's roadmap is about securing a strong position in blockchain finance, but currently over $1 billion in stablecoin transactions occur on XRPL every month. So I think they're certainly going the right way. Ripple's not just adding features, it's strategizing for meaningful full financial applications. The success of version 3 relies on a smooth launch and effective protection of institutions' data and assets. And that's the name of the game, right? Institutions are mainly concerned about privacy and data. Institutions must embrace these tools actively. I think they will, because I think it's a great idea. If successful, XRP could significantly influence the future of blockchain. In summary, Ripple's XRP roadmap emphasized lending, privacy, and compliance to attract institutions. And I think it's a seriously great initiative, what they're doing. And I think this will have legs on it. I think the integration of new tools and protocols signifies a strategic shift towards a more robust and secure financial experience, but also on-chain and off-chain, which XRPL has available to institutions and big fund managers and the environment. So I'm quite bullish what they're doing. I think this is a fantastic upgrade to the ledger, and I do think it'll have legs and it will fly. So I think this is a very interesting article, and I thought I'd bring that to your attention. Thanks very much for listening, and I'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.